In the future, the measles virus is reprogrammed to become a cure for most diseases, including cancer. Unfortunately, scientists lose control of this virus and it infects most of the population. Infected humans mutate into creatures known as Darkseekers, who feed on people and are weak to sunlight. 3 years after the outbreak, the world is a post-apocalyptic wasteland. In New York City, Army virologist Robert lives with his dog Sam. Since animals now roam freely in the city, Sam uses her nose and ears to find them. Robert chases after them in a random car he takes from the street, driving at great speed thanks to the lack of pedestrians. Some roads are blocked by debris and vehicles though, so he has to continue on foot. He's become a talented shooter after so many years of hunting, but when he sees some lions getting to the prey first to feed their cubs, he decides to let them have it. Robert's watch always warns him of when the sun is about to set so he can rush back to his place, which is the same house he's had since before the outbreak. On his way in, he throws bleach on the front steps so the Darkseekers can't follow his smell. To stay sane, Robert tries to do normal things around the house. He's gathered lots of food from around the city and prepares regular dinners every day, which he eats while watching tapes of old newscasts to pretend he still has TV. Robert also loves playing music while doing chores like bathing Sam. When night falls, Robert blocks every door and window in the house, then he hides in the bathtub with Sam and some guns. Soon the Darkseekers' growls can be heard on the streets, bringing back memories. On the day of the outbreak, the island was being sealed off for being ground zero. People panicked and tried to escape anyway, so chaos took over the streets. Robert picked up his wife Zoe, his daughter Marley, and puppy Sam to take them off the island, hoping they can stay at an aunt's place. An argument ensued when Zoe realized that Robert wasn't coming with them because he was staying to search for a cure. They were interrupted by an infected person crashing on the window, so Robert had to drive away quickly. In the present, Robert finishes his morning exercises before going to his basement lab to continue his research. Sam isn't allowed down there because she could be infected, but Robert is immune. He has dozens of infected rats in cages who have been injected with the different serums he's developed. Half of them have mutated, while the other half are dead. That's the usual result, but today Robert is surprised to find a rat that is actually getting better. To keep working on that serum, he'll need a human trial. Later, Robert and Sam go to the video store, where Robert has set up some mannequins to keep up the illusion of normalcy. He chats with them while choosing his next movie, always making sure to bring back the last tape he took as if the store was still functioning. After picking up vegetables from his garden in the park, Robert looks at his map where he marks the houses he's already searched and chooses the next one. He searches all the cabinets for food and drinks, but there isn't much left since people took their supplies with them when they left. It's not uncommon for him to also find bodies, but today he gets extra sad when he discovers an unused nursery. Next, he stops at the gas station and fills up the tank so he can drive around the city, playing a message that invites any survivors to meet him at the South Street Seaport, promising food and shelter. While he waits, he plays golf on top of a plane. Suddenly Sam hears a deer, so Robert immediately goes after it. He keeps his distance as he runs on top of cars, but Sam comes too close and the deer panics, so it hides inside a building. Robert yells at Sam to stop, yet she follows it anyway. Robert has no choice but to go inside too. Since Darkseekers hide in dark places, he moves carefully not to be heard and only looks around using a small light. Robert is startled by some Darkseeker screeches coming from another room. However, he refuses to leave without his dog and takes a deep breath before continuing his search. Eventually, he finds a trail of blood and follows it upstairs, where he notices a nose behind a wall. For a second, he thinks he lost his best friend, but a closer look reveals it's the deer. In the next room, he finds a group of Darkseekers in a corner. Thankfully, he moves fast enough to cover the light and they don't notice him. Robert carefully moves to another room and finally finds Sam, who is hiding under a desk and refuses to come out when Robert calls her. At that moment, he hears a noise and turns the flashlight to discover a Darkseeker feeding on an animal. The creature jumps to attack, so Robert quickly shoots it down before running with Sam. The Darkseekers hear the noise and come after them, so Robert makes Sam take a different path for her safety. When the creatures manage to tackle him, Robert jumps through the window. The fall is tough, but Robert lands on top of a Darkseeker, so he survives. All the beasts are quickly killed by sunlight while Robert reunites with Sam. Moments later, Robert sets up a trap with a canvas in front of the building and a truck on the edge of a bridge. After telling Sam not to follow him, he drops some of his own blood on the canvas. Attracted by the smell, a Darkseeker steps out, so the truck falls and closes the canvas around the beast to capture her. The Darkseeker Alpha peeks out of the building to furiously roar at Robert, which gets him a bit burned by the sun. In the lab, Robert keeps the Darkseeker strapped to a table and notices her butterfly tattoo. He also uses a UV lamp to confirm that she's infected before injecting her with his serum. Nothing happens for a few seconds, but then the Darkseeker starts freaking out, yelling and shaking until she passes out. Her vitals go to zero until Robert gives her a new injection to revive her. Frustrated by the lack of progress, he shakes his table before locking the Darkseeker up. Afterward, Robert makes his daily video log and comments on the Alpha who exposed himself to sunlight. He concludes that either decreased brain function or food scarcity is causing Darkseekers to ignore their basic survival instincts and that social devolution is complete. This reminds Robert of the outbreak day again, since everyone was behaving wildly. The roads were closed and his family was forced to continue on foot. At the harbor checkpoint, the crowd demanded help while the soldiers scanned every person, only allowing those declared clean to pass. Marley passed the test but Zoe didn't, so the soldiers tried to drag her away. Robert pulled rank to make the men test her again and this time she passed. Since they were an army family, they got exclusive access to a helicopter. A woman in the crowd kept begging someone to take her baby to safety, so Robert had to make Marley look away. When the chopper arrived, Robert said goodbye to his family since he still wanted to stay to work. After a prayer, Marley decided to give him Sam so she could protect him. The girl also made a butterfly with her hands as her final gesture before the helicopter took off. In the present, Robert notices that it's his birthday, but this doesn't stop him from going through the usual routine. While driving around the city, he sees a mannequin near the bridge, but he didn't put it there. Robert freaks out, asking the mannequin how he came all the way here. Feeling crazy, he shoots the mannequin down. Realizing that this may be a trap, he randomly shoots around him but nothing happens. Confused, he tries to look at the mannequin, which activates a trap that copies his. A car falls off the bridge to activate a rope that leaves Robert hanging upside down. The sudden pull hits his head, leaving him bleeding into a puddle as he passes out. Moments later, the watch alarm wakes Robert up. He notices that Sam never left and the sun is already setting, so he needs to hurry. He uses a knife to cut the rope and ends up hurting his leg when he lands roughly. Now he has to drag his body on the floor to try to reach the car. As it gets darker, the Alpha appears in the building and sends out 3 infected dogs. Thankfully, there still is a line of sun that keeps them at bay. Robert tries to ignore the pain to stand up, but suddenly the sun disappears and the beasts attack. He reaches the car in time to grab his gun and shoots one of the dogs, but the other still manages to tackle Sam and bite her. The third dog gets Robert and almost bites him too, but Sam can still fight and pushes the beast off. Then Robert shoots it to death. Afterwards, Sam collapses in pain. Robert immediately picks her up and takes her to the lab, where he gives her the serum. While they wait, he holds her on his lap and sings for her, but unfortunately he can see she's already mutating. When Sam snaps at him, he has no choice but to mercy kill her, which causes him to break down. Later in the park, Robert buries Sam and keeps taking medicine to avoid a nervous collapse. When he returns to the car, it hurts him to see the other seat empty. Eventually he stops at the video store and talks to the mannequins, but the lack of answer finally makes the loneliness kick in. Drowning in anger and grief, Robert drives to the bridge and starts running over the Darkseekers for revenge. He manages to kill quite a few of them, but more keep coming and hit the car until it gets stuck on the edge of the bridge. As the Alpha starts cracking the window and other beasts pile up on top of the vehicle, Robert manages to drive away from the edge only to crash into a light post. The Darkseekers climb this post to bring it down on the car, destroying the roof. Robert tries to drive away, but the beasts keep hitting and pushing the vehicle as the Alpha commands them. Eventually the car is overturned and Robert is trapped. The Alpha crawls inside through the window and gets ready to kill, but at that moment a bright UV light causes all the Darkseekers to run away. Robert notices someone coming closer before he passes out. Sometimes he regains consciousness for a few seconds and learns he's in the car with a woman asking for his address, so he gives it to her before passing out again. This time Robert dreams of his family leaving in the helicopter. At that moment the government bombed the bridge to seal off the island, causing the crowd to panic even more. They jumped on the other chopper in desperation and made it lose control, so it crashed into the helicopter with Robert's family. In the present, Robert wakes up on his couch at home and notices that his leg injury has been stitched. When he hears a noise, he grabs a gun and enters the kitchen, and for a second he thinks he's seeing his family. However, it's Anna and her son Ethan, who saved him last night. Robert puts the gun away and Anna convinces him to sit with them for breakfast. She shares that they're from Maryland and came to the harbor when they heard his message on the radio. Now they're traveling to Vermont because there's a survivors' colony in the mountains that has managed to keep the virus away. Robert refuses to believe it and furiously throws the plate while repeating that everybody's dead. When he realizes he's losing it, Robert goes to the bathroom to calm down. Then he returns to the living room and finds the duo watching Shrek. Robert starts quoting the ogre's dialogue to explain that he isn't used to being around people and that's why he can be awkward, but he means no harm. After Robert thanks Anna for her help, he wonders how she's been surviving. Anna explains she was on a Red Cross evacuation ship near Sao Paulo, and when the Navy fell apart, they started docking to search for supplies. Unfortunately, someone stole her ship, and while 5 of her teammates were immune, they were killed by Darkseekers. Since it's late now, she'll leave with Ethan tomorrow, but Robert still refuses to go with them because he wants to keep working on the cure. In the afternoon, Robert checks the trap that caught him last time and refuses to believe that the Darkseekers did it because he still thinks they don't have higher brain functions. They discuss the matter near a fountain where Ethan swims, and Anna concludes that the Darkseekers are evolving. When Ethan complains about the cold water, Robert gets an idea. In the lab, Robert sedates the Darkseeker and puts her on ice, hoping that changing her body temperature will help the serum work. Anna notices a bunch of pictures on the wall that reveal Robert has tried his serums on many Darkseekers before, but they all died. Later they find Ethan asleep on the couch, so they take him to Marley's bed. Anna sees the pictures of Robert's family, so he shares that Marley was named after the famous singer. Since Anna never heard of him before, Robert plays some of his music and explains that Bob Marley was his inspiration because he even sang after being shot in his own house. As it starts getting dark, Robert begins to seal all the windows. Anna asks him again to come with them to the colony, so Robert wonders how she can be sure it's real. When Anna says God told her because he has a plan, Robert snaps and yells at her, reminding her that billions of people are dead and that many of those are feeding on the bodies. He thinks this proves there's no God. His rant is interrupted by some strange noises outside. When Robert looks out, he discovers that the Darkseekers followed them and are now surrounding the house. While Anna rushes upstairs to check on Ethan, Robert activates the lights he set up outside, but the Darkseekers quickly work together to break them all and start running toward the house again. Robert has no choice but to activate the bombs he's buried outside, which kills the horde with one big explosion. While fire spreads through the streets, Robert goes looking for Anna, only to be jumped on by the Alpha. Robert is bitten and thrown around the room, painfully getting his body smashed on the wall and the railing. This allows another Darkseeker to rush upstairs. The Alpha throws Robert on the table and against the bookshelves before dropping him to roar. This gives Robert access to a screwdriver, which he uses to stab the Alpha's leg. The creature responds by throwing him down the stairs, so now Robert can reach into an umbrella basket to retrieve a gun and open fire. The Alpha dodges every shot and runs toward a different room. Noticing a gas canister in that room, Robert shoots it to make it explode. However, the Alpha escapes by climbing the stairs. Robert chases after him while shooting randomly, which destroys many parts of the house. He realizes too late that the Alpha has escaped through the window. After dropping the empty gun, Robert goes looking for his friends and finds them hiding under some furniture because a Darkseeker is in that room breaking the ceiling. Robert wants to sneak in to grab a gun, but at that moment the Darkseeker hears Marley and jumps to attack. Now Robert has to run and he reaches the gun just in time to shoot the creature down. Then Robert helps Anna and Ethan come out, but their relief is interrupted by a strange noise. Robert looks outside to discover that the Alpha is back with another horde. He takes his friends to the basement lab while the creatures start climbing the building. Eventually, there are so many of them on the roof that it breaks and they fall through, so now they're running through the house. In the lab, the group discovers that the Darkseeker is shockingly getting better, so they finally have the cure they need. Before Robert can decide how to proceed, the horde bursts into the lab and starts pounding on the door while Robert tries to explain that he can save them now, to no avail. When the Alpha arrives, his amazing strength allows him to crack the door easily. He hits it a few more times before drawing a butterfly on the glass. Thinking about Marley and the tattoo on the infected woman, Robert finally accepts that Darkseekers have feelings too and puts his gun down. Then he unplugs the serum and tells Anna to open the door while he watches the infection quickly return to the woman's body. He rolls the stretcher out and all the Darkseekers growl at him while he gives the creature an injection to wake her up. She and the Alpha are clearly happy to see each other and share a sweet moment before she's picked up. Robert apologizes, but the Alpha only roars at him before he leaves with the horde. The next day, Robert leaves with Anna and Ethan. On their way to Vermont, they play a new message voiced by Anna, telling other survivors to come to the colony in the mountains.